Whether you recognize the brand from its iconic golden arches, its delectable crispy fries, or the easily recognizable red and white clown, it's no lie that this fast food label is popular worldwide. What started out with two brothers humbly running a fast food stand has today turned into one of the world's largest franchise chains. Yes, we're talking about none other than McDonald's. The story of the world's biggest fast food joint begins with the McDonald's brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, or Dick and Mac for short. The duo was born in Manchester, New Hampshire, to Irish immigrants Patrick and Marguerite McDonald. Having been born into a lower-class family, the brothers weren't alien to financial hardships. After their father was laid off from work despite his 42 years of faithful service, the brothers were driven more than ever to become financially independent and make a better future for themselves. In the late 1930s, the McDonald family would move to Hollywood in search of a better occupation. The duo would end up working at Columbia Pictures, where they do odd jobs like moving sets and driving studio trucks. The pair did all that work for a mere $25 a week at that time. Though the brothers entered Hollywood with dreams of producing, directing, or making it onto the big stage somehow, this wasn't really what ended up happening. From whatever funds they had saved during their tenure at the studio, the McDonalds went ahead and bought the Mission Theater. However, if you've had a history lesson or two, you'd know that the 1930s was the time of the Great Depression. With economies crashing worldwide, the brothers soon realized that the theater business wasn't something that was sustainable. In 1937, the McDonald's decided to sell the theater, but this is where things really start to get exciting for the brothers. In the same year, their father Patrick opened a food stand near the Monrovia Airport in Los Angeles County. It was named the Airdrome, and the McDonald's were officially in the restaurant industry. Selling everything from hot dogs and burgers to soft drinks and desserts, it was safe to say that the Airdrome was pretty successful. The McDonald's brothers were entrepreneurial visionaries, though. By October 1948, they observed that most of their profit was coming from the sale of one particular item that would go on to become an icon of McDonald's, the hamburger. The brothers weren't satisfied with the car hop system they had in place, since it was inefficient and slow, so they decided to make a drastic change. They shut down their flourishing food stand. The duo were determined to adopt a more streamlined system in which they only sold their top sellers: hamburgers, cheeseburgers, soft drinks, coffee, apple pie, and potato crisps. They redesigned their kitchen around these items, essentially turning their kitchen into an assembly line. The brothers also decided to abandon cutlery and replaced it with disposable paper packaging. The result? McDonald's was able to whip out customer orders in as less than 30 seconds. This was phenomenal at that time, and the concept of fast food was born. So yes, the McDonald's brothers were so influential that you can credit them for inventing the immensely popular fast food culture we have today. After a decent run till 1952, the brothers Dick and Mac figured they needed a new building. If you didn't realize already, the brothers were all about efficiency. The new building would serve two purposes. The first one was to better aesthetics to attract new customers, and the second one was to make efficiency improvements. What came out of these design changes was a glowing new building which was pretty eye-catching. The brothers also knew for a fact that in order to make themselves familiar and recognizable from a distance, they needed a distinct visual indicator, and so the brothers designed 25-foot sheet metal arches. These arches were yellow in color and were trimmed in neon, and the brothers called them the Golden Arches. This is what would later go on to become the iconic McDonald's logo as we know it today, as the Golden Arches were incorporated into the logo in 1962. The McDonald's brothers weren't done yet. They believed they had a lot of potential to grow, and in late 1953, they began seeking franchisees. Their first franchises came in the form of a General Petroleum distributor, Neil Fox. Neil would go ahead and open the first ever McDonald's franchise in Phoenix, Arizona, and the branch was kitted out with the McDonald's branding including the logo. However, the McDonald's brothers made a breakthrough with franchising in 1954. To understand this, we'll have to first meet a guy named Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc was a natural-born entrepreneur and a hustler, who at the time was a seller of the expensive but efficient multi-mixer milkshake machines. However, due to its exorbitant price, he wasn't finding much success at selling these machines. When Ray received an order for 8 of his machines in 1954, all from the McDonald's brothers themselves, his curiosity was piqued. Ray made it a point to visit the restaurant in San Bernardino, and when he did, he immediately fell in love with the place. Having realized the potential that this fast food restaurant held, he offered to franchise the restaurant. At this point in time, the McDonald's brothers already had about 20 franchise outlets, but none of them were doing as well as the original branch. This was primarily due to quality control issues, as the brothers weren't able to regulate the other branches effectively. The brothers decided to trust Ray and closed a deal in which the brothers would earn 0.5% of the gross sales, and this was a turning point in the company's history. Before we find out about Ray Kroc's impact on the company, make sure to like the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already to never miss out on business stories like this one. With that out of the way, let's dive further into the video. The impact that Ray had was huge. Ray knew that the McDonald's formula was a ticket to success and acquired the rights to set up McDonald's all over the USA. In a span of just 6 years, Ray would go on and open over 100 McDonald's franchises. Kroc was a man who demanded perfectionism and would handpick only the best of franchisees. But soon enough, things started to go south between Ray and the McDonald's brothers. You see, though the original McDonald's restaurant was founded by Dick and Mac, Ray Kroc had set up the McDonald's Corporation. Over the years, Kroc established himself as the face of the company. He grew frustrated by the brothers, as they were oblivious to Ray's suggestion on improving the franchise. As both parties fought for control over the business, things weren't looking too bright for the future of the company. If you're active in the business world, you know that McDonald's is more than just a fast food brand. Dig a little deeper into the company, and you'll be pleasantly surprised to know that McDonald's is a real estate business too. How, you might be wondering? Well, as we mentioned earlier, Ray Kroc was a shrewd entrepreneur and a man of sheer will. While the man was opening up franchises left and right, he wasn't making much money out of it. At the same time, Ray wanted control of the company too, as he had poured his life into it. And so he came up with a brilliant plan to accelerate McDonald's growth and investment, to own the land on which future franchises would be built upon. Ray would first buy land in prime locations, and would then lease it with a high markup fee to his franchisees. This way, Kroc was minting a lot of money while the McDonald's brothers were left dumbstruck. While the brothers certainly weren't happy about what was happening, there was nothing much that they could do. Eventually, the brothers relented and sold their franchise to Ray Kroc in 1961 for $2.7 million, which would roughly translate to $25 million today. This was just a fraction of the whopping $56 million that McDonald's was making in the 1960s. Ray would also promise the brothers a royalty on all future sales over a handshake deal, but this was a false promise that Ray wouldn't keep. Now that Ray had the company to himself, he started implementing all the changes he had ever wished for, like redesigning the logo into the iconic M and creating the red and white clown mascot that we all know and love, Ronald McDonald. Ray would also go on to expand the menu and introduce items that sell to date, like the Filet-O-Fish introduced in 1965 and the Big Mac in 1968. In 1972, the company would introduce another new concept to the fast food industry, breakfast sandwiches, in the form of the Egg McMuffin. Another fun fact about McDonald's is that they're the world's largest toy distributor, courtesy of the instantly recognizable Kids Meal, which was also introduced around this time. Over time, the company would keep growing with franchises opening up internationally. Since competitors like Burger King and Wendy's were gaining popularity, McDonald's turned to customer satisfaction to stay ahead of the game. The company is known to have some of the best trained staff even today. The company would keep on growing even after Ray's death, and today has more than 39,000 outlets spread over 100 countries. From being a small food stand owned by two brothers to becoming a pioneer in the fast food industry, McDonald's has come a long way. Do you think the steps taken by Ray Kroc was fair to the brothers? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll see you with another fantastic business story soon.